something feels off. It doesn't feel like a gym. And we wanted to create something cool, something that when you walk in here and you're like, oh my God, drone worthy. Hello everyone and welcome to the Fortress of Fortitude. Now before we start, if you haven't seen my previous videos, go and watch them first so you get a little bit more context, because this is the third video in something like a trilogy. The first video talks more about what I have been doing for the last several years. The second video is a cinematic trailer of the Fortress of Fortitude. And in this third video, I'm gonna give you guys a tour of the place. So if you haven't seen my previous videos, go and watch them first, and then I'll see you guys back here. Alright, so yeah, my best friend Krasi and I were finally able to build ourselves a home gym. Having our own gym has been one of our biggest dreams for many years now, and we're so grateful to have been finally able to make this happen, especially considering everything we had to go through, all the challenges we had to face, the extremely limited resources we were working with in terms of financial resources, in terms of space, location, all of it. Just to give you a little bit of a perspective, I don't know if you can tell, I hope you cannot tell, but this is actually a living room in an apartment. Or at least it used to be. Now it's the Fortress of Fortitude. But yeah, most people have garage gyms, basement gyms. Well, this is the first and only living room gym, at least as far as I'm aware of. Not only that, but we're also on the second floor. So you can imagine how much more difficult it becomes to carry heavy equipment up the stairs, to squeeze it through the tiny door. Not to mention that the door and the staircase are actually at a 90-degree angle, and both of them are very narrow. So when you're carrying long equipment like a barbell or a squat rack upright, you have to pivot. Pivot! There was a lot of pivoting going on. I had to do research about the construction of the building, make calculations about the load capacity of the floor, make sure it's safe so that you don't start a deadlift set here and then finish the set with the neighbor downstairs, you know? Things like that. I also had to do a lot of research and get really creative with putting up all the artwork and the different types of decoration, because I wanted to cause the least amount of damage to the place. And those are just some of the obstacles we had to face. But you can either find excuses or you can find a way. And all of this just goes to show that when there is a will, there is a way. If you truly want something, you will find a way. It might take a very long time. It might be extremely hard and difficult. It might not be perfect, but if you truly want something, you will find a way to make it happen and at least start somewhere. And we all know that the first step is often the hardest. Of course, our vision is much grander. This is just a stepping stone, but it's a huge, crucial stepping stone, because it finally allows me to be a fully private and independent health and fitness coach, which has also been a goal of mine for quite some time. This way, all the profit is for me. I don't get a tiny commission for my work, or have to pay commission or rent to use a gym, both of which are no fun. It also allows me to be my own boss and run things the way I want to, which is very important to me because I'm very independent and I'm a perfectionist. Another huge benefit is that this finally allows me to get as creative as I want to and shoot all kinds of content anytime I want to. Well, not all kinds of content. I know what you're thinking there. Don't get too excited now. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, I have ideas about different types of content, and if you guys have any ideas, any recommendations, anything you'd like to see, then leave a comment, shoot me a message, let me know, and I'll do my best to make it happen. With all that said, let me finally give you a tour of the place. This is the Fortress of Fortitude. Now, as you can see, it's not that big. It's just a room in an apartment, but what it lacks in space and super fancy equipment, it makes up for in heart and soul and spirit. I'm so happy and proud of how it turned out, especially in terms of design and atmosphere, with the lighting, with the LED lights, with all the different types of artwork and decorations. I think we were able to make something truly unique and one of a kind, and I absolutely love it. It's actually funny, but to this day, every time I walk in here, I just stop and look at it for a few seconds, and it just fills my heart with joy and gratitude. It still feels surreal that I have this in my apartment. I still can't believe that we actually built this exactly the way we envisioned it. That's how much it means to me. That's how much I love it. Now, when we first started building this, Krasi and I bought some equipment, we put it in here, but then we were like, something feels off. Yeah, cool, we got some equipment, but it doesn't feel like a gym. It feels weird. It doesn't give you that authentic gym vibe. It doesn't look like a gym, it just looks like a regular room with a bunch of equipment in it. And we wanted to create something cool, something truly unique and extraordinary. Something that when you walk in here and you see it and you're like, damn, that's dope. And so we sat down and we were like, okay, how can we change this? How can we make people forget or not even notice that they're in an apartment, but rather walk in here and all of a sudden find themselves in this entirely different reality and fully immerse themselves in this one-of-a-kind gym experience, in this unique design and atmosphere. So we started thinking and we came to the conclusion that we needed to hide any and everything that basically looks ordinary, that gives away the fact that this is just a room. Hide it, cover it up. And so that's why we covered all the walls, all the doors, all the windows, any and everything that we could, to the best of our abilities, of course, so that when you walk in here, you're not stepping into an apartment building, but you're rather walking into this unique gym with a one-of-a-kind design and atmosphere. You're walking in an entirely different universe, into this magical place called the Fortress of Fortitude. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, or that it's the best gym in the world, or anything like that. But I definitely believe we've created something truly special and unique, something that I haven't seen anywhere else, and I'm very proud of that. So you guys have probably already noticed, but both Krasi and I love sports, but we also love superheroes. So the entire gym is themed and it's pretty much a tie. It's about 50% athletes and 50% superheroes. And let me start with this piece right here. So in terms of design and atmosphere, there are two centerpieces to the gym. This huge vinyl banner over here that covers the entire wall, and then this curtain over here. And both of those are Krasi's work. He's very good with Photoshop, so he designed both of these. And so I want to say a huge thank you to him, big shout out, because he put in so much work. It probably took him half a year to finish them. And he did an amazing job, because both of these pieces are what truly gives the flavor and the uniqueness to the gym, because there's nothing like this anywhere else. So we had a lot of images that we wanted to use, and we love live action stuff as well as animated. And so that's why we finally decided, let's just do one that's animated and one that's live action, because it looks kind of weird when you mix both animated and live action in one thing. So that's why here we're stuck with live action, and we got some superheroes, some of our favorite superheroes, as well as some of our favorite athletes, fitness models, a lot of inspirational figures. By the way, I'm sure many of you recognize this guy here, here, and here. But for those of you who don't, this is Yanakiev, or how they pronounce it here in America, Lazar Angelov. He's also Bulgarian, like us. And up until a few years ago, he used to be one of the most famous fitness models in the world. He used to have one of the most recognized physiques in the world, the biggest following on Facebook and Instagram. More people wanted to look like him compared to any other fitness model or bodybuilder. He's actually one of the first fitness models, the OGs who started the whole aesthetics movement, along with people like Ziz, Greg Plitt, Simeon Panda, who we have over here, Jeff Seid over here, Ulysses Jr., Max Filizer. All those people were some of the first fitness models. So huge shout out to Lazar for his amazing physique, for all the inspiration throughout the years. And like he always used to say, beast mode never sleeps. Remember that. So thank you, Azar. We keep your spirit alive even all the way here in LA. And those are just some of the people who we have here who have inspired us over the years. And here we have the animated curtain. So this whole thing is with animated images. Again, we have superheroes, we have athletes. Kras is a semi-pro basketball player and the biggest basketball fan I've ever seen. This is his life, his biggest passion, so that's why we have a lot of basketball players as well. He also put our names in here, the name of the gym, which is a great touch and makes it even cooler and more unique. Another thing you might have noticed is that Superman takes a very central place everywhere. He's on the curtain, he's on the vinyl here, his LED shield is on the squat rack, and there's a reason for that. Superman is my favorite superhero and my biggest role model and idol. If I could be more like anybody, I would want to be more like Superman. I grew up with him and he's one of the biggest influences that made me the man I am today. I've always felt a very strong connection to him and I've always looked up to him for strength, inspiration, and of course, hope. So yeah, Superman holds a very special place in my heart. Aside from Superman, another very prominent figure whose presence you've undoubtedly noticed is the one and only, the greatest, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we obviously have him over here, but then also on the two big curtains over there, as well as on this one over here. He's basically everywhere. So in terms of actual living people, Arnold would probably be one of my biggest role models because of everything that he's accomplished and of course because of his absolutely phenomenal physique. This is my most favorite physique of all time and the closest to my vision of a perfect physique and what I want to achieve in terms of my physical development. I just love the golden era of bodybuilding. I think their aesthetics, their symmetry and proportions were unparalleled. And also just the way they moved, the way they posed, it was so fluid, so graceful, so beautiful. It looked majestic. I mean, that was pure art. And I think that art has been a little lost in the decades since. So yeah, those are some of my favorite Arnold poses. This one is particularly special to me. This is my favorite Arnold pose, my most favorite bodybuilding pose, most favorite bodybuilding picture, all of it. This is just it. I think this is the epitome of grace and power in perfect harmony. We also have him, of course, on the TV. I have an Arnold Schwarzenegger playlist with all of his bodybuilding movies and training videos and contest videos, just playing nonstop for motivation and inspiration. I'm sure many of you guys recognize this one. This is, of course, Pumping Iron, the first bodybuilding movie ever and the biggest classic in terms of bodybuilding movies. It basically single-handedly started the whole fitness revolution and made bodybuilding and fitness in general mainstream. So yeah, Arnold is always with us, always watching, always inspiring us. Here we have another very special one. I'm sure many of you recognize this guy. This is the one and only Sultan of Symmetry, Flex Wheeler. This is probably my second most favorite physique of all time, after Arnold. He's absolutely incredible. There's actually a story to this picture. So this is my most favorite picture of Flex Wheeler by far, and one of the best bodybuilding pictures in my opinion. And so I remember years ago, I was going to this gym in my hometown back in Bulgaria. And like most gyms, there were mirrors all over the walls, but above the mirrors, the walls were covered with bodybuilding pictures. And so I remember this one time, I was sitting somewhere near the dumbbell rack in between sets, and I looked to the far side of the gym, and there on the far wall, on the other end of the gym, above the mirrors, I saw this picture. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, who is this guy? How is this possible? How can anybody look like this amazing? I had never seen anything like that. I was mesmerized. I mean, the symmetry, the proportions, the huge bulging delts, round and perfectly shaped like bowling balls, the traps like mountain ranges. Absolutely incredible. And when I saw it, I was like, I would give anything to look like this. I just couldn't believe my eyes. I would never forget how I felt when I first saw this picture. And that's why I really wanted to have this curtain here with this picture, because it's very special to me. A lot of those curtains are custom made, so you can't really find them anywhere, and that's why I'm really happy to have all of them here. Here we have another interesting area in terms of artwork. This I call the Bodybuilding Historical Wall of Fame. It basically features some of my favorite Mr. Olympias in their signature poses in a historical order. And also some people who never won the Olympia but absolutely deserve to be here, like Steve Reeves, and we also have Flex Wheeler one more time. Every picture includes the person's name, their nickname if any, and the years in which they won the Olympia. Or if they didn't, like in the case of Flex Wheeler, the years in which they became second, which he actually did 3 times he became second. In Steve Reeves' case, Mr. Olympia didn't exist, so he won Mr. Universe in 1950. So we have Steve Reeves, Arnold, Frank Zane, Flex Wheeler, Ronnie Coleman, and towards the end, Jay Cutler and Phil the Gift Heath. A fun fact for you guys. As you can see, we have some girls' pictures on the walls, over here, here, over there, some female motivation, but in the beginning we didn't have that. We mostly had the guys, you know, the superheroes and Arnold and stuff like that. And so I actually started getting complaints from some of my male clients that it's just guys in here and it's like a sausage fest. And so that's why I had to put up some female posters on the walls as well to make it a little more exciting, spice things up a little. Okay, let's see what else we have. There are a few more interesting things. So we have Thor's hammer glowing over there. We have Iron Man coming out of the wall. What's up, Tony? We have Iron Man's Infinity Gauntlet with the Infinity Stones. But the best thing is, you put it on, and then you turn it on, and I feel the power. I'm just playing. Don't worry, I'm one of the good guys. And here we have the actual Mjolnir, the mighty Mjolnir. I use that anytime I have a girl over. I ask her to try and pick up my hammer, as a test to see if she's worthy of dating me. And if she's unable to lift it, then I give her the good old Anthony Hopkins speech. You are unworthy of this gem. You're unworthy of my presence. You're unworthy.
You're unworthy!
And then I cast her out, back into the dark abyss that she crawled out of. And here we have pretty much the whole wall covered with mirrors. And then there are colored LED lights going all around the mirrors. So they really give it that cool, glowing kind of a halo effect. And I would say this whole thing probably had the biggest impact and made the biggest difference and changed the whole atmosphere of the gym the most with this and the lighting. Because when you have mirrors, obviously you can see yourself, you can see your surroundings, you have reflections going on. So it really creates the illusion of a much bigger, much wider space, which is even more important here because it is not a big space. So with all of that going on, it's really cool, definitely makes a huge difference. And then with all the lights, especially at night, they glow even more, you can see them even more. So it really gives off that cool kind of a club vibe, you know? So it's like half a gym, half a club, that sort of a thing. So I really love how this whole part turned out. Now in terms of equipment, we have of course the centerpiece of the gym, a Rogue Monster power rack with a Rogue barbell and Rogue plates. A lot of the bells and whistles here, a lot of different attachments. Many of them are currently not on display, but as you can see, we have a standard pull-up bar, we have a multi-grip pull-up bar, we have gymnastics rings. You can use those either as a TRX or to do different gymnastics movements. We have band pegs, we have the Rogue landmine over here, and we have all kinds of different attachments for the landmine with different grips and so on and so forth. We have the Rogue Matador for dips and also several other dip attachments, so you can do dips in different places with different widths and so on and so forth. So yeah, we're pretty much stacked with equipment. Moving on, we have a dumbbell selection over here. We've got the power blocks up to 90 pounds, a kettlebell selection here. We have 2 benches by Rep Fitness. This one is adjustable, incline and flat, and then this one is just flat, but this isn't your standard flat bench. It features a special competition pad that is extra wide and extra thick. And by the way, ladies, this isn't the only thing around here that is extra wide and extra thick. Just so you know. Here we have another special one. This is the other centerpiece when it comes to equipment, a Titan Fitness functional trainer. This is the plate loaded one. As you can see, we have all kinds of different attachments, anything your heart desires. This machine was actually Krasi's idea. I was against it because I'm a hardcore guy, you know, free weights and compound movements all day, every day. Machines are for wimps, all of that stuff. But I'm actually really glad we got this one because it's so versatile and it offers so much diversity. I find myself using it a lot. Now, I still believe most people should focus predominantly on free weights and compound movements for the majority of their training, but there are many use case scenarios for a machine like this. First, you can't just do the same thing over and over forever. It's good to switch it up every now and again. Shock the muscle, like Arnold says, hit it from different angles, offer some diversity, some novelty stimulus. Second, you might get bored. So having a machine like this that offers so many different movements can be a great way to break up the monotony and make training fun and exciting again. And third, what if you get injured? Compound movements are great, but a lot of them, or most of them I should say, require the entire body to be involved in some shape or form, and they're very demanding. So if you're injured, it's very likely that you're not going to be able to perform many compound movements, but you might be able to find many isolation movements that you're still able to do. So having a machine like this can help you train through injuries, maintain your gains, and actually speed up your recovery. Now, this one isn't the best. I wish it was a little smoother, and maybe it's just my unit, I don't know. But despite that, for everything that it offers for that price, and also considering the relatively compact design and smaller footprint, which is important for many home gym owners, I absolutely highly recommend it. You just can't beat that price. Anything similar to this machine is about 2-3 times more expensive. So yeah, I'm very glad we have this, and it's a great addition to the gym. We have a seated calf raise machine because we don't skip lower leg day in here. You gotta train your calves and your tips, guys. This one is also by Titan Fitness, and it's a similar story. It's not the best, but the price is very competitive and it still gets the job done. Alright guys, that's gonna be a wrap on today's video. A lot of stuff, but this has literally been years in the making, and I've poured my heart and soul into all of this, as I always do with everything that I care about, and so I wanted to share it all with you. Like I said, I have a lot of ideas for content, a lot of OF content. That's only fitness, by the way. So stay tuned, more content coming soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment for the algorithm, subscribe, hit the bell button, all of that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.